I am Dr. Tony Akers with Your Inner Wellness, and you are tuned in to my premiere show of Your Inner Wellness. Today, the topic for today will be why I use essential oils. For those of you all who already know me, you already know that I am totally into wellness. But for those of you who don't know me, I want to just kind of introduce myself. I am a doctor of theology. I'm a licensed cosmetologist, a certified herbalist, an essential oil specialist, and I just launched my new business called Your Inner Wellness. I'm so excited to be on the radio with Intellectual Radio, and I want to start out by thanking my sponsor, which is C&W Plumbing and Sons. And for those of you all who need plumbing work, hit him up on his cell phone at 708-268-6489, Adele Warner. I'm very excited today. I have a dear friend in the studio with me, Audrey Lee. She's also into wellness as well. I'm going to give her an opportunity to introduce herself to you guys right now.
Tony, thank you so much for having me on your show, Your Inner Wellness. It really is all about inner wellness, and I really have a passion for that as well. Being a health and wellness expert as well as a medical missionary and health minister, it's been also my passion to help cancer patients, especially because we're finding out so many people are being attacked with that disease. But when the door of essential oils was opened, oh my God, it just opened to me a can of worms.
Wow.
So I feel honored to be a part of that, being a part of the members of American Association for Drugless Practitioners, and we want to make sure people are not on drugs. So I'm honored to be a guest on your show.
Thank you. Thank you. And guys, we're going to have Audrey here for the next two shows as well. So you're going to have an opportunity to get a lot of her information in the next couple of weeks to come. I want to start off by talking about how I got started with essential oils, because people often ask me that. People think that essential oils are some type of mystery. They don't know really how to use the oils. And when they want to get into it, they don't know where to start. So I want to kind of highlight three of my favorite oils and how I got started with the essential oils. The first one is peppermint. With peppermint, I was somewhere with a friend of mine, and she had some peppermint oil in her purse. And I had a slight headache because I had a very stressful day that day. And she said, you know what? You should try this peppermint oil. And she gave me some peppermint oil in the palm of my hand, and I sniffed it, and my headache went away, and I became sold at that point. Huh? Yes, I was really sold on the peppermint. So I use peppermint quite often. I used it for headaches. I used it for just to give me some energy. In the wintertime, when I found myself having some head congestion, I would sniff it for that reason. And then I said, well, hey, if peppermint is this great, what are these other oils good for? I'll stop right there and find out, what are your thoughts about peppermint oil?
So I have to be honest with you, peppermint was the one that blew my mind too.
Okay.
It was amazing. I had already been trained to use oils for medicinal purposes with cancer patients. But
wow.
I also use them for cooking. Now, you can't use all of them, but I was at Whole Foods.
Okay.
Standing there listening to a presentation, and I had my peppermint in my purse. I had just been introduced to it, but not knowing a lot about how much it did for the body. A lady had passed out, and they were going to call the ambulance, and I pulled out my peppermint. Yes, I did. I pulled it out, and I put it under her nose, on her temples, on the back of her neck, and in seconds she came to, and people looked at me like I was somebody from outer space, like, what is that you gave her? And where did you get it from? So I was like, hold on a minute, it's just peppermint essential oils. And they go, well, wait a minute, they have oils here. I said, oh, unfortunately, that's not the same quality.
Okay.
So that's really important too, which we'll talk about why. But peppermint was actually my door opener too.
Wow. And I like when you said how the peppermint is not the same. And like you said, we're going to really get into the different qualities of the oils and how the oils are actually derived and how they're made, so that people that are listening, they're not under the impression that they can go to some like festival or somewhere and they can pick up this oil
market.
Right. Or right, at a flea market and thinking that they will get the same results. And we're going to really unpack that for our listeners today. The next oil I want to talk about is lavender.
Wow, look at your face.
I really, really love lavender. Um, One time I was cooking and I like to use like olive oil and different oils when I'm just sauteing. And I had the fire up a little bit too high, and some oil kind of splashed on my hand and it was burning. And I recall from my studies that lavender oil would help to soothe the burn. And I was glad that I remembered that because I had some oil in my kitchen. I put some oil immediately on my hand, and the sensation from the burning sensation, it went away. And what I really liked about it is that it did not leave a scar. Because I've been burnt before from like in the olden days when I used to prior to me locking my hair, I may use a curling iron or something like that and burn my neck or something like that, and it would leave a scar. But after using the lavender oil, I did not have that issue. In addition, I see when men go to the barber shop, and a lot of times the clippers are so sharp, and they have these little lines from the clippers on their neck and around the perimeter of their hair. When you use the lavender oil on different things like that, it actually heals the skin a lot faster.
Yeah.
So for those of you all are listening, if you burn yourself or if you cut yourself or anything like that, lavender is really, really good for that. And I actually found that to be true with lavender.
Lavender is a powerful one. I would say too, we're talking about some of the top ones, but lavender too. Everybody knows that lavender has been put in a lot of the over-the-counter beauty products.
Yes.
We usually use it in our bathtubs to relax. So everybody believes that lavender is the oil to use before we go to bed. And although it is, as we're talking about, it has to be a certain quality. One of the stories I'll tell you about a lady, she had problems with lavender. She loved lavender because of the problems she was having. Which was in the area that she lived, the community wasn't the greatest, so the noises and things, and her dog barking all the time. So she actually took the lavender, put it in water and her Epsom salt. She put a little bit in on her pillow, and she put it on the bottom of her feet.
Wow.
Now, she didn't know the impact it was going to do, because when she got out of the tub, she went to go get in the bed and her dog was laying on her pillow snoring.
That's funny.
I said, oh, you know what? Lavender is something that's coming into my house too. And I've been using it for all different types of things, from, as you just mentioned, burns and inflammation in the body, just relaxing the body and make it feel better.
Awesome. The next oil I want to talk about as a personal testimony for me, and one of my favorite, I say this a lot, I love all the oils, but my most favorite of all is frankincense. And as we know, and some of our listeners are listening, frankincense was one of the oils that was given to baby Jesus by the Magi's. And I always wondered, why frankincense? What was special about frankincense, and why was frankincense just as valuable as gold back in the Bible days? And I found out for myself. I went to a conference, and I used to hear people talk about the power of frankincense and how in different countries frankincense was used to help to combat to fight and to combat cancer. And I said, you know what? That's pretty awesome. So recently, I would say within the last year or so, I went to the doctor and I had a lump in my breast. And come to find out, it was not cancerous, thank the Lord, but it was still large enough where they recommended surgery. And the lump was pretty large, and I did not want to go through a surgical process. So I said, you know what, I'm gonna try the frankincense, because people keep talking about how it would shrink lumps and tumors and things like that. So I got a high grade frankincense. I applied it to the lump, and I did that 3 times a day and for 3 days. And it only took 3 days for the lump to disappear. That's how powerful the frankincense was. I was very, very
amazing. That is amazing that you say that, because even with the experiences I mentioned to you, working with a lot of cancer patients, and we have to, of course, follow the guidelines that the FDA says, but we're talking about a quality that people can buy over the counter.
That's correct.
And we'll talk about that in a moment. But even my own mother-in-law, she was diagnosed with colon cancer.
Wow.
To the point where she was on dialysis and even in a coma. And in
Wow.
7 days, just applying that fragrance on the bottom of her feet now, she was out. And just this past
Wow.
weekend, she turned 84 when they told she wouldn't even make it to 80.
Wow. So as you guys can see, these essential oils are very, very powerful. And although a lot of people don't really understand the inner workings and how it works, we're going to actually spend the next, like I said, the next 4 Mondays kind of unpacking how the essential oils work. So we're going to take a break.
Sounds
And
good.
when we come back, we're going to talk about how essential oils are actually made. I need to get my secret. So welcome back. We want to get into what are essential oils. Essential oils are aromatherapy. They're actually they're scents and they're compounds from plants, and they're extracts from seeds and bark and flowers and leaves of the root. The oils that are used are carefully what we call steam distilled or cold pressed in order to keep the plant's powerful healing components alive. Also, essential oils are 50 to 70 times more powerful than herbs. And I think that's very important because a lot of times that people may use certain herbs. And don't get me wrong, I use a lot of herbs too, and herbs are very powerful. But I find that essential oils are that much more powerful, and they're easy to ingest, and they're easy to actually to apply, whether on the vital flex points, which again we're going to talk more about that. And I find that they're easy to when you're doing what I call oils.
My favorite.
Your favorite?
My favorite. I love diffusing when I'm working in the office. Sometimes it can get stagnant inside of the room when we're working.
Yes.
And the airways may not be as clear as you would have it if you were outside, but diffusing inside really changes the atmosphere. It keeps you at peace and calm, and actually helps you to focus better. That's what I found them to be. And, when you talked about the different places that they come from, I think about how God left them here for us.
Yes.
He left them here for us so that we wouldn't be sick. And if we really paid attention, when you look at the people that have been using them and how far they've been back in history, even they found them in King Tut's tomb, and it was just as powerful the day they found them. That's pretty awesome.
That's true. And when you said God sent us the oils, when you listen to the word essential oils, if you listen and break it down, it sounds like He sent you oils.
Never thought of that, but that is right.
He sent you oils. And when you talk about diffusing, about 5 years ago, I used to run a homeless shelter. And when I was asked to be a director over a homeless shelter, one of the things that they warned me of, they said, Tony, when you're running a homeless shelter, you're going to have something called incidents. and we're going to want you to do an incident report. And I said, well, what's an incident report? I don't know what that is. And they were like, well, sometimes the women may get into fights. A lot of times the women are pretty stressed out because they're homeless, and they may fight over, you took my pamper, you did this, or you took a cigarette from me, or whatever the fight is over, and they call it an incident report. And I thought to myself, well, I really don't want to have to deal with that. So I started to diffuse essential oils throughout the center. And I did not have any incidents report. I didn't have any incidents, so I didn't have anything to report. And when the city came to the homeless shelter to pick up my incident report, and I didn't have anything to report, they didn't find that to be true. They was like, every shelter have an incident report. And I told them that, well, we didn't have that problem here. And I believe it was because of the essential oils that I was diffusing in the actual center that I did not have any incidents. So that's how powerful essential oils are. But I will say essential oils are not all created equal. Would you agree?
Totally. Absolutely. I know we're going to break some of that down, but a lot of people, even I'm sure that you come in contact with, they go, oh, I use lavender. Yeah, I got some peppermint. And then when they smell the ones that we're using, it's like, oh my God, what is that? And then it just really opens up the door for us to say, let me really break it down for you. And I really love the fact that we can do that, because just like people get the opportunity to pick different medicines in the drugstores or places that they go for their medications. I like the fact that these are really God's original medications, but plant form. But if they look back in Revelations, it was already stated. And if we go back and do things his way, as you just said, he sent you oils. I think they'd have their essentials that they need without having to struggle.
Absolutely. Now, what I did was I took an opportunity to put together, it's a little technical, but I know that a lot of my friends, I have a lot of friends that are they're thinkers, they're researchers, and they're the type that are very, when you tell them something, they go and research. So I knew that I had to put together something that will help them unpack the actual scientific process behind essential oils. So this may be a little technical for some, but I wanted to take the opportunity to talk about the 5 ways that essential oils are actually created. You have something called steam distillation, something called solvent extraction. Then you have something called expressions, effleurage, and then something that's called hypercritical carbon dioxide. And I know that that's a lot, that's a mouthful, but what I really want to focus on is the way that essential oils that are made that has the highest quality. And that is when the herbs are, or when the essential oils are steam distilled or steam distillation. This process allowed the production of the essential oils to be undertaken simply by passing the steam through the plant material, which then the oil is contained that way. Mm-hmm. That is the most purest way for the oil to be extracted. Now, when you look at something called the solvent extraction, they're actually using a chemical to get that oil out of the plant, which means that now that oil has been compromised. It's not a pure oil at that point. So you may not get the healing benefits that you would if you had an oil that was steam distilled. And I really want to stress that, because when I find that I teach oil classes and then people will run out and they'll buy, like you said, that they'll buy oil at some random place, like at a flea market or at a store, some stores that don't have the 100% essential oils, they will come back and say, I didn't get that same effect. My frankincense didn't dissolve my tumor, my peppermint did not help me with my headache. And it's because they don't have the right type of oil. What has been your experience with that?
I have to say the same thing, because a lot of people, just like you said, they're inquisitive. They want to know more information. They feel like they're researchers too. And why should they buy it from you?
Right.
And it's not that we have to prove anything, because the proof is in the oil. I didn't want to say pudding, because it really is in the oil. Because they have actually sometimes brought in their oils to say, hey, I have a lavender, mm-hmm. and I only paid such and such for it. But it's just like you can buy a Coach or you can buy a fake Coach. I mean, only
Absolutely.
You know, sure. Yes. But when that oil really hits the body, it really is amazing. And I do highly stress to people, because learning how to use it, that's something else we'll talk about. That's where people get confused. But steam distilling it right through a diffuser or even in your hand,
Mm-hmm.
it's the fastest route to the brain. And when people have a situation, they need instant recovery or repair.
Absolutely, absolutely. So again, I want to talk about the 5 ways that oils are extracted. Again, it's steam distillation, and when you're buying oils, if you of course, I have oils available, and I'll give you my information on how to contact me to get your oils. But for those who may want to go out and get some oils on their own, just making sure that it says aromatherapy, aromatherapy, and that it will say therapeutic grade or 100% pure oil, and that it says steam distillation. Because if those are the things you really need to look for when you're looking for your oils. If it doesn't say that, then you can bet that it's probably mixed with something synthetic, or it's not 100%. Um, Anything you want to add to that, Audrey?
Yeah,
Before?
and even too, when you do look at some of the oils in the store, on the back of them, they'll tell you one thing that people really need to watch: do not ingest.
Oh yes,
And when they
yes,
see that, they need to have their ears up like, well, why can't I? Because the lady told me I could take these internally.
yes.
Why can't I take these? There's a reason for that. And
Right.
that's because of what you just said. They're not certified pure therapeutic grade. And therapeutic is the word. That means they're
Yes.
used for healing properties or repairing properties for those that don't want to use the word heal, because everybody's at different stages of the game. But repairing a situation that you're dealing with, releasing the body, giving the body ease, that's what these oils do.
Thank you for saying that. I almost forgot that you can definitely ingest 100% pure therapeutic grade. And I would encourage you guys to get a coach, someone like myself or Audrey, someone that can coach you through the process so that you can feel comfortable on what you're doing, what you're purchasing, how to turn your medicine cabinet into an essential oil cabinet. And that way, right now, you may not feel comfortable doing it yourself, but having someone like me as your coach or Audrey as your coach, then we can actually walk you through that process. What we're going to do is take a quick mini break. And then when we come back, we're going to talk about some things that you're going to learn within the next couple of weeks on about essential oils, and some events that are coming up that we would like to share with you. Welcome back to Your Inner Wellness with Tony Akers and Audrey Lee on IntellectualRadio.com. Next, I want to talk about some of the topics that we plan to cover over the next couple of weeks. We're going to talk about your intro to essential oils. We're going to really get into the history and who found it, who started using the essential oils first, and how they went from culture to culture. We're going to kind of break that down. And we're going to dig more into how to use essential oils. We talked about, I gave you my testimony, Audrey gave you her testimony on how she used the essential oils, but we really want to unpack on how to use those essential oils. And we're going to also talk about suggested ways on how to use oils for your emotional healing. And when you have people or friends and families with emotional issues, how to address that. And then I'm going to turn it over to Audrey, because we have something special coming up, the Veggie Fest.
Yes,
so I want her to talk to you guys about that.
Well, every year, Chicago has the largest health event, which is called the Veggie Fest. It's actually put on by the Church of Scientology. But the point is that it's like-minded people coming together, learning how to eat what we call this vegetarian lifestyle. And there's so many people that really need to eat that way, Tony.
Yes, I agree.
Because they're fighting inside their own body. That's what we're talking about, their inner wellness, because we're trying to get in there so we can get some wellness going on. And this is a great way to do that. So that's going to happen this weekend on Saturday the 23rd and Sunday the 24th. It starts at 11 to 8 both days.
Yes.
So make sure you get there early. I know it's talking about being a hot weekend, but this is going to be an awesome, awesome time. We have a booth there that people can stop by and listen to people that are using the oils. And on our team here in Chicago, our Chicago Dream Team, all different walks of life, from doctors to mothers to you and I, and just all kinds of people. And it's just a great way to just get doused, I should say, in oil.
Where is the Veggie Fest this year?
It's going to be at Benedictine College. It used to be right there on the school in April, but that's right in Lyle. So make sure that you go on Facebook and check that out. Those that are listening in, because this is an event that you definitely want to be there. Last year they had almost 30,000 people in attendance.
Yes, I've been to the Veggie Fest the last 3 years, and what I love about it is, first of all, it's free to get in. And then I'm not a vegetarian, but I've been trying to eat more vegetarian style. So what I like about going to the Veggie Fest is that it teaches me how to make my vegetables taste great. I got introduced to Indian food at the Veggie Fest, and that was pretty cool. In addition to that, we're going to be there with essential oils. For those of you all who want to come by our booth to sample what 100% essential oils smell like, feel like, that kind of thing, you can come by the booth and sample the oils, and you will be able to purchase oils as well. We're going to have all the oils there, and you can get the oils from us at the Veggie Fest.
One of the other things too, Tony, is our upline, our sponsors too, that are actually the reason why we're there. They're going to have an opportunity to purchase oils wholesale, where they're going to get some free gifts only that weekend.
Wow.
Those 2 days. So come out. I'm not going to tell you what they are, but come out and you'll see, because it'll be worth your while. These are oils that they don't sell. We don't usually sell them, but you'll be able to get and earn those this weekend.
You might want to repeat that. We're talking about free oils.
Free, can I say free 99? But you'll be able to come out and purchase what we call you talked about change over your medicine cabinet makeover. I like to say your essentials, your essential kit will be available to you only at a special price with a kit.
Wow.
So that kit has 10 oils. I mean, if you bought them individually, you pay quite a bit of money, but you'll be able to get a special summer kit that they're actually presenting with that, as well as some other bonuses. And I won't tell you all about those, but that's this weekend free at the Veggie Fest.
You can't beat that. Guys, oils can be, some people consider them to be expensive, but they're not expensive when it comes down to your health. So I would suggest make your way out to the Veggie Fest. Again, it's going to be Saturday, Sunday, July 23rd and the 27th at Benedictine College in Lyle. And you will definitely see the doTERRA booth there, where we will have all of the therapeutic grade oils at that booth. Another event I want to talk about that was very powerful was the essential oils for men. And this was something that Audrey, she hosted. So I want her to give more information about that. And men, you definitely need to get out to this event. So
I want to So that's one of my favorite events. It's actually going to be the 30th of the month.
Okay.
And we actually gave it a name because you know what? Last month was Father's Day, and we give honor to our dads, our fathers, men that are heading our homes and being that role model in our house. But we don't think about it when it comes to taking care of the house. Or I should say, they don't think about it. So
Right.
what we've done is put together a event called Bro Terror, brother.
Bro terror.
Bro, right. And bro terrors is really about real men, real health. Because there's some real men out there that want to get their health together. And the last time we had this event, Tony, now it was only supposed to have been 2 hours. And we really said one, but we said, well, maybe we'll go for two because men don't want their time taken up.
Right.
They want stuff in and out like they grocery shop. But this one is actually going to be all about diabetes. And the topic is, are you on a date with diabetes?
Wow. I love that topic.
So that'll be this end of the month on the Saturday, July the 30th at 3 p.m. Veterans Center, which is right on 8th Avenue, right off of the expressway. And you do want to be there. Bring another man with you because it's all about educating our men about their health because they're dropping dead around here, not just men, but just in general, just what we're dealing with, the stress, the levels. Dr. Cortez has a gift beyond measure. I mean, everybody needs to see it. But this event, you want to be there. If you're a father, bring your son. If you're a son, bring your father. But if you just want to come, bring somebody with you. It's worth it.
You know, I would agree with Audrey. It's definitely worth it. And I know men have issues just like women. And sometimes women will go to the doctor for the smallest thing. You know, if their finger was hurting, they would go to the doctor. Where men, they tolerate pain a lot more. And they have a tendency, from my experience, because I have brothers and uncles and cousins, where they won't go to the doctor that often. They will afraid of what the doctor will say. And we all know about the blue pill that's out there. A lot of times the men will come and they'll say, where I don't want to take this blue pill, but I need something. I tell you, once you get into essential oils and once you begin to clean out the toxins, and yeah, it's about eating right and exercising and that kind of thing, but it's really about making sure that you get your body back to what we call a state of homeostasis. It's really about you doing a holistic healing, which the oils will help you with that. And one thing that I noticed when I was with Audrey at the men's event, the last event that she had, there was a guy there. He was really into bodybuilding, but um, we do something called body testing. And some of you are out there that may know about body testing, some of you may not. But body testing is a way for your body to talk to you. Your body is constantly talking to you anyway. If you're allergic to peanuts, your body will let you know. Or if you eat some shrimp or some shellfish, your body will let you know. So your body is constantly talking to you. And men, a lot of times they feel like they work out and that kind of thing, that they're healthy. But the liver could be toxic, the kidney could be toxic, the brain could be toxic. And how would you know that? You actually need to be around people that know how the body works. And I was really amazed to find, what was the doctor name, Audrey?
Dr. Cortez, he just has a way about, and with people, but men in general, because he said, we got to help our brothers. We got to help them. So this is a way for us to take these brothers and help them restore their health God's way.
Right.
He created us.
Right. So a lot of times when you work out, you're taking protein and you may even take a little fiber. Some people may even take a multivitamin, but they will find that it's really not doing what it needs to do because there's some kind of disconnect with the phones that we carry. Is constantly draining our energy. And if we work around certain towers, or we're constantly around electronics like your computer and different things like that, it can really drain your energy. And people are not really aware that is happening. But there's telltale signs. They're not able to sleep at night. They're not able to sexually function with their spouses. They're not able to, they find themselves just lethargic and tired. But what you really need in your life are the essential oils. And it was very prevalent when we were at the event, and the men were very shocked. They were like, here I am, a 200-pound man, and I can't do certain things because all of a sudden I'm being awakened to how my energy is really flowing.
Yeah, that guy, I got to see him on Sunday. He runs a big fitness gym, Mainstream Fitness, and I'm telling, he says, I bench pressed 350 pounds. I cannot understand why he had that much power over my two little fingers.
Right, right, right. It was amazing.
And so this whole protocol and technique of education is really what it is. And teaching men, you have the power already inside of you, like Dorothy in the shoes, right? To be
Right,
healthy.
right, right.
And so we want to teach them how to click their own heels, right?
Right.
So that they can get their health back and all the symptoms and things that they're dealing with. What could that really be? Dr. Cortez has an answer for that.
And that's awesome. And I want to take a moment to give out my information on how to reach me for in even with in Audrey as well, because there's only so much of me to go around. There are probably people out there with churches and women groups and men groups that would like to have someone like myself or Audrey come out and do a workshop at your community center, at your church. So I want to, if you could take a moment to go get a pen and a piece of paper to write this information down. Again, I am Dr. Tony Akers with Your Inner Wellness. And if you wanted me to come out to do a workshop for any event that you have coming up, you can reach me at area code 331-215-4884. Again, that's 331-215-4884. And then you can also follow me on Instagram and on Facebook and you can find me under Your Inner Wellness. That's both on Instagram and Facebook, under Your Inner Wellness, all one word together. And I'll give Audrey an opportunity to give her information as well, because you may want her to come out to your event.
Yeah, it's funny. We're actually doing an event right now at Lifeline Church. One of the guys just shared his testimony. He ran a half marathon yesterday, started the class in February, but he's down 80 pounds. That's a lot. But you can reach me. My name is Audrey Lee. That's with a double E, AUDREE, Lee, LEE, at audreylee.com or Facebook, Audrey Lee. And of course, you can dial me at 844-4Audrey. That's AUDREE.
Great, great. Also, I want to say this. Usually when I do oil classes, essential oil classes, I find my kitchen chemist friends that are out there, they try to mix things on their own and try things on their own. And, some people get positive results and others may not, because again, it's the quality of the oils that they're using. So I want to also put this disclaimer out there for those that are listening. The statements that we have not been evaluated by the Food and the Drug Administration. The products mentioned and the information shared is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. So if you are pregnant or nursing or taking medications, so if you have any medical condition, you definitely need to consult your physician before using any natural tips that you're going to hear on my show. So I definitely want to stress that. I want you to be well, but I want you to also make sure that you follow certain protocols when it comes down to you taking your health into your own hand. Okay?
That's good, because a lot of people, just like you said, they'll take this and they'll point to you and ask you, hey, what happened here? And I had a lady, I'm serious, because you know how we tell people, you diffuse this one, you rub that one on. A lady was taking the Deep Blue for pain internally, and it's an external oil. I went, OMG.
Oh, my goodness.
I had to get some lemon going on with her so we can get her body cleaned out. But at least one thing that's true, like we just talked about, they won't harm you.
That's right.
Really
That's right. So. And people always ask me, can they use the essential oils with their children? Can kids use essential oils? And the answer to that is absolutely. When you're dealing with children, I would say some of the tips that I would have for you if you want to use essential oils with your children is, make sure you don't put essential oils in their hand, because they will tend to begin to rub their eyes, and you don't want them to get the oil into their eyes. I typically like to use the essential oils when I'm dealing with young people, 4, 5, 6-year-old children. I like to rub it on their feet. That way it gets, it doesn't burn or anything like that. And I like to diffuse the oils. Like you can put it into their, into a diffuser in their room. And those are some simple ways that you can use the oils when you're dealing with young people. And even with some of the elderly, with elderly people, you can use it. I would do it the same way. I would rub it under their feet. I would diffuse it, or I would actually put it on the area of concern. Let's say if it was a burn, I would put it directly on where, if the burn was on the hand or the arm or something like that, then I would do it. I would put it directly on the spot for an elderly person. And
I agree with you because, you know, one thing that's really great about the oils we use, we do give instructions and explanations, but just to cover the window of children and older people, the great thing about our oils is although they can buy general oils, we do have them with the carrier oil already in there so they don't have to figure everything out.
that's good.
So
That's
if you have
good.
sensitive skin, a child or an older person, because my grandma's 99 and she uses the oil to this day. She doesn't take medication. And that should be an eye over to a lot of
That's
people
good.
out there who are on medication and want to be off. How can this 99-year-old woman not be on medication? Because I'm 40 and I'm on it. Not me, but you know.
Right.
But it's because she gets her roller bottle and she knows behind the ears, back of the neck, bottom of the feet. She's good.
Good. Guys, I know that today you're getting a lot of information. We've given you our testimonies on how we've used several oils. We talked about peppermint, we talked about lavender, we talked about frankincense, but there are a myriad of oils out there that we haven't even touched, like lemongrass and lemon and myrrh,
Melaleuca.
melaleuca, hyssop, and then all the different blends. So I definitely want to encourage you to tune in every Monday at the same time from 12 to 1, because we're really going to go into some deep conversation about essential oils. We're going to talk about the history. We're going to talk about how different cultures use it, actually in medicines, how different hospitals are actually using essential oils. We're going to talk a lot about that. But I'm really looking forward to seeing you guys at the Veggie Fest,
And the men's event.
and the men's event, because you're going to get a lot of information and you're going to have the opportunity to touch and feel and buy some of these oils that we're talking about. So again, I'm Tony Akers,
And I'm Audrey Lee.
and with Your Inner Wellness on IntellectualRadio.com, and we'll see you next Monday.